Namaskar, my dear friends. Welcome to Mana TV International. I'm your host, Jyotsna, welcoming you to Community Special with Jyotsna. And as we are proceeding with different topics every time, this time we have a very interesting topic and very relevant for you, to you, in the sense times are changing. COVID, has been a major topic that we have been discussing off and on under the gamut of COVID, different kind of circumstances and suggestions we are taking from different experts. Today happens to be a topic that also relates to a situation where pandemic situation is high, people are losing life, and what's happening is people are really not knowing what would happen to their kids. God forbid they lose lives. What would happen to their wealth, their property, and everything? For that reason, today we have come up with a topic that relates to your will and trust, as to how will and trust can protect your wealth and kids and their future. So today we have an expert with us who is a financial expert, an advisor, and a coach who will guide you thoroughly about the process of will and trust, how they are registered, what should be done at what point of time, what should be the right age, couple of questions. And before we proceed with our show, I will introduce our guest, Mr. VR Chinni. Mr. Chinni, welcome to the show.
Namaste, Jyotsna. Thank you.
All right. Chinni ji, aapka introduction, I'm giving your introduction to the people now, my dear viewers. His introduction goes like this, basically. It's a big introduction, so I'm going to read now. I thought let's welcome him first. Well, Mr. Chinni is a financial coach and educator and a licensed financial planning expert helping families and small businesses with strategies that meet their financial goals. He also holds an investment company since 2009 and invests into various industry segments. VR Chinni also acts as a strategic advisor for multiple startup initiatives. And every week he hosts educational webinars on various financial topics that are helpful to families and small businesses. And he has hosted so far 150 plus webinars and educated more than 5,000 families about same. He's also well known in the community with Save a Life IYC campaign that creates awareness and stem cell donation to save lives who are fighting with blood cancer. His team is now working on a brand new campaign called Save Your Life, which they will be kicking off very soon. And before that, of course, we will take good guidance from Mr. Chinni here. Mr. Chinni, quite a splendid profile. You've been enlightening many lives, many families.
Thank you so much. This is all happens, with the support of the community, Jyotsna. You know that, this is an amazing community where we are, and with each and everyone's, support and all these things, so we were able to actually do this much and more, coming on the road.
How are you getting so much of time managing all this? So many webinars.
That's a very interesting question. Everybody asks that, because maybe it's too much to say when you say that, really, because I actually go by the calendar, Jyotsna. I just go by the calendar. We have 24 hours and 8 hours to take rest and 8 hours to work, 8 hours for the family. So I just divide those, and then within 8 hours, what can I do? What I wanted to do this today and tomorrow, just plan it. That's all. If you plan it well, and absolutely you can make things.
So basically, there is a will, there is a way, and you're finding the right way out for a lot of people.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Very nice. So, Mr. Chinni, first and foremost question: what is a will? What is a trust? What is their relevance in current situation and in generic situation as well?
Yeah. That's absolutely, the talk of this evening. Definitely, this is very important. I know you prepared very, critical questions for me. I hope all going to be, easy questions, and I'm going to pass on this show this evening. Again, good evening, everyone, for all the viewers of, Mana TV and TV5 and all the, the viewers out there. What is a will and what is a trust? So before to that, I just wanted to, if you don't mind, I'm going to give you just a couple of lines about that. Who actually needs these things? That's the first thing. Who actually needs all these documents, the topic that we're talking about? So one simple line is, if you are married, if you have a child, and if you own a property like a primary house, and this topic is very important for you, and this topic, this evening show is definitely going to help you and your family to protect your children, protect your wealth, and protect your health. So that's what the whole idea is. So what is a will? Will actually helps you, specify who are the beneficiaries for all the properties and the assets that you own, that you have earned. And you can also specify what is the kind of percentage, who do I want to give to how much. That's the two things. It's after me. Will is, it's like a last will and testament. This is my last wish. After I am gone, what do I want to do? Everything, anything that owned by myself. That's one thing. And now these days, this is we know with this COVID-19 situation, we know how life is delicate, how delicate the life is. Life is so valuable. Life is actually there, but at the same time, it actually showing us so delicate. So we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow, right? Then if that is the case, if you have some young children, like a minor children under 18, if something unwanted happens to the parents, what happens to the children? Who will take care of the children? Are they going to go to the state custody? Are they going to go to their grandparents' custody? Are they going to go into the hands of their uncles and aunts, because both are not there, both the parents are not there? So that is a kind of one of those huge concern in the community. So this last will and testament really help you to designate upfront in advance. What you can say in your last will and testament is, hey, in case if something unwanted happens to me, I am designating so and so individual to take care of my children. Very simple. So you can designate your brother, you can designate your sister, you can designate your parents, you can even designate a close friend. You think your friends are going to take care of your children. As
Right.
simple as that. At the same time, you can also specify who are going to take care of all my financial aspects until my children become major. So that is the kind of a core, the definition of last will, Jyotsna.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, pretty nicely, you enumerated all the people connected that could be part of the will. Now, if somebody has not made any will, a family has not created a will, what happens to the property and the wealth here in the United States?
That's a very good question, because for that, when you're talking about the United States, over 60% of the families don't have these documents executed.
Wow.
That's a really, staggering number. Yeah.
Right.
So it is so much actually is going on. Based on that, maybe the backlogs are more, maybe the time that is actually taking in the courts is more. So now when you ask, okay, what happens if a family don't have any of these documents? On an average, based on the statistics in the United States, if something unwanted happens in the family, both the parents are gone, children survived, and they have a properties and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And on average, it is taking about 2 years to get out of the court proceedings, on an average. So the children's custody, properties custody, and everything owned by that family to get out of everything from out of the court custody, it is taking about average 2 years. It may take 1 year, or it may take more than 2 years.
So basically, you are saying, if God forbid, parents pass away, they have a property and they have young children who are not adults, the property gets attached by the court. I mean, the court, it goes into the custody of the court, and it takes almost 2 years for the court to decide where the property would go and where the kids would go. So by that time, where do kids get to stay?
Yeah, so during the court process, children will be kept in the foster care. So that's what we hear about, right? We hear so many kind of horror stories in how the foster cares are being, I mean, no disrespect, no nothing, it's the real information what we're talking about. Foster cares are absolutely a place where, all those children who don't have any custody, they're into the foster care custody. But yeah, they will be into the foster care custody while, the children are into the, the state probate court processing.
So, and supposedly the decision comes out, what does court decide exactly? Because there is nobody as such put into the will. There is no heir, right? Like how does it go where?
Yeah. So what happens is, we can actually talk about a small situation. Let's say, there's something happens to the parents of the children, right? Then the parents have their parents, sister, brother, uncle, aunt, these people, right? If something happens into their family, obviously all these family members come together. And then because children in the custody, and then they will actually go after the court. These are our family members' children. Okay, I'm the sister, I'm the brother. Okay, or I'm the kind of a grandparents of the children. We would like to have the custody of these children. Then the more number of people go into the court, it takes more time for the court to decide. Because that is brother, that is sister, that is a grandparent, but the court may not necessarily know, right? Every individual who is claiming that these are my family members, these properties are all my family members thing, okay, I would like to have the custody. And how can the court will actually give just like that? So there is so every person that actually claim, the court has to go through a process. So that may take, again, every family is very unique, right? Like it is. Then we won't be able to say that, okay, this is going to go take this much, this is going to take this much time. But we can say on an average, it's going to take about, 18 months to 2 years. So that's how we can tell, So, but without having all these documents, you're going to have this much time. Now, if you may ask, okay, how much time is going to take, or what is the kind of a difference if I have this document executed?
If we have a will, right?
If you have a will, what really happens, right? So if you don't have any documents, it takes about a couple of years, right? If you have this last will and testament, it comes down to 6 months.
Awesome. That's wonderful.
Yeah, so that's the kind of a where we all the families need to really talk about. I know we have the media, we have friends, we have a Google. Everybody talks about everything, right? So this is very important that you wanted to actually talk about. We wanted to really listen about the professionals, the one that actually really helping the families. That's where you only get the the proper information. Even though when we are talking about Jyotsna here, because this is purely for informational purpose only. If you need a proper way of having the information or the solution for your own family, you need to contact the professionals. One of those you can contact our office. That's a different case, but you need to talk to the professional because every family is different.
Right. So, Mr. Chinni, about your business as is, if we were to ask, okay, can you get me a will done? Is your office involved in this kind of activity where you get these wills made?
Yeah, absolutely, Jyotsna. Yeah, our office will actually can help you get this last will and testament done. As a matter of fact, not that that situation, but because of this COVID-19, we were busier than before.
Absolutely, must have been, I know.
Yeah, because each and every family wanted to do this thing for our own family. That's definitely one thing. But in this lifestyle, we will never be able to find time, and then we always put this thing as a low priority. Absolutely. Now, because of this COVID-19, each and every family is in the house, right? We are all sheltered in, so we are finding much time to actually go through, to think through, and plan through. So that's why we are getting a humpty number of calls every day. So yeah, we can actually do that. We can help.
So Mr. Chinni, after this show, expect a lot of calls to your office because that's what my purpose is, to educate the masses and inspire them to take the right steps. And you are the right contact right now in front of them. So for sure, I foresee a lot of calls coming to you, your office. Well, thank you so much for the good service that you're doing. Now, before we go more into the depth of the procedure of getting a will done, I want to ask, what is a trust? What do you mean by trust? When we say get your trust also, into place or something, what is a trust?
Yeah, that's a very, important, document out of all the 6 documents, and the estate planning that usually the industry talks about it. Trust is also being called, trust is also, actually, trust is a living trust. It's also being called as a revocable living trust, also being called as a family revocable living trust. What is this all about? This is a revocable living trust is a legal, documentation, a written legal documentation where you actually establish a logical entity and where you would transfer the ownership of all your properties and assets into the name of the trust. That is the definition of a trust. Why do I need it? It's a big, big question. So the major purpose of having to have a revocable living trust is to avoid probate court proceedings on your properties and assets.
So in case somebody dies, it directly goes to the trust, entire property and everything, all the wealth. And from the trust, I mean, if it is part of the trust takes care of it then. That's it, right?
Yes, yeah. So but it's not that, okay, when some unwanted incident happens, it goes to the trust. You actually plan well before, way before to that fact.
So even if you're living, you can still send it to the trust?
There you go. There you go. It's an amazing concept. It's an amazing concept, that one would actually wanted to, find out and establish their own living trust, while they actually, have everything is going.
Perfect. So no, I mean, I'm also getting parallelly questions on the other side also. And, they're also putting questions on my another channel there on the Facebook, also live on the Mana TV Facebook page as well. I mean, if people are not able to watch us on the Mana TV, they can also watch us on the Facebook, live, and can also catch up on, Mana TV's YouTube channel as well. And we have given our live numbers also, I mean, to call if somebody has a question. The flyer had the number, so they can definitely call us. I believe they're not flashing the number right now. That's probably the situation why we're not getting the calls. But if you want, I can tell you the number. If you want to make a call and ask Mr. Chinni a question, the number to call is 631-867. 631-867-1293. I repeat, this is 631-867-1293 is the number to call us and ask the questions on our live show right now. Now, Mr. Chinni, about the procedure. How do we get a will made? I mean, how do we register a will, or whatever? What do you call it in your term? Technical terms, you say.
Yeah, this is a lost will. It's just a very in terms of the process, Jyotsna, it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. All we got to have is about a 1 hour of time. That's all. You can get everything is done. It's as simple as that. So now these days, the reason how we are able to talk right now, even though we are sheltered in, because of technology, right?
Right.
Because of the technology, we still be able to actually communicate and then share our thoughts and take care of so many things, right? So similar way, by leveraging technology, you can do all this, your estate planning, with very seamless way, and then in very convenient way. You don't need to, this is what the thing is, there are 2 ways that you can actually get these things done, Jyotsna.
All right.
One is you can contact your local attorney. That's one thing. You can contact your local attorney. The attorney will actually go through everything and then help you with all the required documents. Like I was talking about, there are total 6 documents.
Right.
As a standard, but then no document is compulsory, no document is required. It's as a standard, we bring all the 6 documents together. And then 7th document is, if you have a pet, a dog or a cat, you can also have a pet trust. In addition to these 6 documents, you're going to have one more document called pet trust, for those families who have a pet. So these are the standard documents. So you can actually contact your local attorney, and then you can get these things done. That's one thing. And then other option is, these days, we can leverage technology, right? So you can leverage technology, do the same exact things happen for you, for your family, Then what is the difference? What are we getting or more? In terms of, the cost, the attorneys are here. And then in terms of the leveraging technology, this cost is here. That means less cost. That's one thing. Probably, many families actually like about that, right? And the other thing is, this is only, I'm sharing the options, so some families really wanted to go through the attorney. Some families wanted to leverage technology. We have 2 options. Even our office actually help both options. If you want to go through with an attorney, we will help you through with that. If you are okay with the leveraging technology and save some money, we will help through with that. Now, this is the one thing, cost, right? Other thing is the convenience. Look at the convenience. If you need to go to talk to an attorney, you need to find the attorney. You need to take an appointment with the attorney, and every hour the attorney charges are every hour, or they actually have a flat fee. Okay, so that's the thing. And then you got to go with their time. Now with this leveraging technology, it's in front of your computer.
Mm-hmm.
So it only takes 1 hour. So you can actually sit now and let's spend 15 minutes, take a break, come back tomorrow. Let's spend 15 more minutes, and again 15 more minutes, and 15 minutes, done. You're done at your own convenience without actually going through all these things. So that's a kind of a price-wise, convenience-wise, you have two options.
So basically, when we speak about the technology, is there a particular site where people can go straight away and register themselves, or organizations like you, they reach out to you and get attached to that technical platform? You provide that platform and you make it easy for them to register?
Yes, yeah, definitely. We will help you through with that. But that's actually very, very good question, Jyotsna, I have to say. You know, these days, I may ask you a question actually.
Yes.
Jyotsna, if you wanted to find something that, let's say, you are not totally aware of that, you don't, let's put it, plain simple. If you don't know about that, you wanted to find something that you don't know,
right?
What would you, what would be the first thing that you do?
We usually go to Google and keep searching something, right?
There you go. What an amazing, see, it's out there. Even though we know, let's say for example, it's a health related situation, like the coffee is coming or something, but you need to go to a professional, right? Then what do you do? But
they say Neem Hakim Khatra Hai Jaan. Don't go to a Google doctor, or you'll start identifying yourself for a cough, and you might end up being a cancer patient. That's another matter. So I understand what you say. Even though people look out for the will and trust solutions on Google, you need an expert to take a consultation. That's Mr. Chinni is smart there,
There you go.
There you are.
But I'll tell you though, yeah, there's one another thing, if I want to continue, I can continue. Two things, whether we Google or we talk to our friends.
All right.
That's two things, right? Now, friends is also far away. Google is so close. So yes, because the question you asked me, because I have to kind of explain, yeah, because this is leveraging technology. You can Google it. You Google it, you can get it, for $20, $30, or maybe if you spend 2 to 3 hours in Google, you may be able to find a free thing.
Right. No, I got your point.
Important thing is, do you really want to? Already, there is a cost savings by leveraging technology here. But again, do you really want to actually go through to find some free thing? And that is, you're actually kind of putting everything,
your entire investments of the lifetime cannot be put for a free site and done. You need a professional. Either you need an attorney, or you need a professional like Mr. Chinni's firm. Many other firms are there, helping you out. But okay, as far as these documents are concerned, what are these 6 documents when you speak about? There are 6 particular documents, and then 7th is for the pet. Pet, you are saying it's a trust. It's not a will. It's not part of the will because it's a living animal, right? That's why. So what is it in those 6 documents, basically, to make it very simple to understand?
Yeah. So we've already talked about 2 documents, like Jyotsna. So one is the last will and testament, and second one is a living trust. 2 documents.
Right.
And we have a one financial power of attorney, the 3rd document. So which is like a GPA, general power of attorney. We're going to giving authority to each spouse, and then there are going to be 3 medical documents. One is a living will, and the second one is a medical power of attorney. 3rd one is a HIPAA authorization. So these are the medical documents you need to protect your health.
All right.
Without going into the state government's hands. So you need these 3 documents are very important for you to protect your own health.
So basically, we are speaking about our own health condition there in that will. And then that if something happens to me because I suffer from this and that, that's where my will should go.
Yeah.
Okay.
True. Yeah.
Interesting. Pretty interesting. So you are saying it takes only 1 hour to register all this?
All these documents, yes, Jyotsna. Yeah, it won't take much time.
How much time does it take to get final registration done and the piece of will in your hand saying, okay, now I'm all set. This is what I have with me, and I'm all set.
Yeah. So because the one thing is that every state has their own regulations by having all these documents. That's one thing.
All
So
right.
each state has their own regulations, and then within the state we have a various number of counties.
Mm-hmm.
So when you actually have all these 6 documents done, you don't need to register. You don't need to submit anywhere. All
Okay.
you need to do is prepare, generate all these documents, and get them notarized. You need to notarize with a notary public in front
Mm-hmm.
of 2 witnesses. That is what you need to do.
Okay.
Wife and husband and 2 witnesses, and you do all these document signature in front of the notary public. That's the process.
So
And what
now
do you?
with the current, sorry, I'm interrupting here. So now with the current COVID situation, when people are not available personally in physical, like physically. So in that case, we'll have to wait for some time for somebody to physically be a witness there and notarize it, or is there any alternate way for that as well?
Good question. A lot of actually families ask me this one. Oh, Chinni, I've done mine. I've done mine. What do I next? Notary. You need to do notary. So, if you're looking at that, the technology-wise, state of Virginia, I think is the first state in the country
Mm-hmm.
introduced e-notary, electronic
Okay.
notary, remote notary. They've been doing since years.
Right.
That's
Okay.
one. And because of this COVID-19 situation, I've heard at least a couple of states like state of Arizona, they've actually introduced e-notary, like a remote notary. And
Very
then
nice.
state of Texas, yeah,
Uh-huh.
introduced a remote notary. So you have a facility to actually do these remote notaries and then get them executed. That's one thing. But you need to find out whether your state is actually doing it or not. And then if they are, then you can actually leverage those resources and then get them done. Yes.
Excellent. And how about the witnesses? We need them at least, though. So we'll have to call our neighbors or somebody. Please come, stand here. We are a mask, 6 feet distance. That's fine. But you are well. You need. We require you, right?
Yeah.
No, I got you. But that's pretty easy. I mean, it's very good on the part that people like the states are giving this leverage of technology. And I'm pretty sure when they say about notary, they might have to come on some camera, or it's just the notary through signature. I mean, do the people have to show their face or somewhere?
True. Yeah, there is a process, but because I don't know I'm not aware of the full process, but there is a process like we are doing,
Right.
this online. So the wife and husband is going to be on the screen, and the public notary is going to be on another one screen, and then the 2 witnesses are going to be other screen. So like 5 people are in the Zoom call, for example, they are using Zoom.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be Zoom. Then the notary public is going to validate, their ID by showing, the driver's license.
Nice.
They have a mechanism of, validating each individual. And then these individuals, and they say, and they talk to each other. There's a kind of a very interesting process also that the notarization, Jyotsna. So what is it? It's like a funny, not funny, but it's kind of a fun way of executing it. So notary public, as a notary public, he or she has to ask those witnesses, and that they are aware of those 2 people, and they are acting normal. They are not pressurized, and there is no force, all that kind of stuff. Because these documents are very simple, because you are actually designating someone to take care of your children, and you are designating someone to take care of all the properties and assets you own. It's not a simple thing. So you wanted to make sure you're not forced. You're not actually pressurized. Someone is actually not putting a knife in behind behind your back.
Absolutely. There is no, yes,
So
we get your point. Yes.
the whole idea. Some actually families ask me, hey Chinni, what is this? Getting wife and husband together, going to a notary public is so difficult these days. Now you're asking me to get 2 more witnesses. What in the world this is possible? For all those 4 people come together, and then again they all 4 need to go to the notary public.
Right.
It's kind of a challenging practical, but that is the reason behind it, Jyotsna. So there is a reason behind for everything, that why they need to.
Absolutely. We get this, and this is very interesting. In fact, I don't know about. I mean, I stay in the state of New Jersey, so I don't know how much leniency is there about these technical perspectives. Where technology is becoming friendly and giving access to create these wills and trust, and having witnesses there, and the notaries there. So as far as this whole procedure is concerned, everything is concerned, you are saying it takes an hour and that's it, or when do the state send some documents or something? I mean, I'm more curious to know the post procedure after you have a witness, the notary is done, the papers are submitted. Do we get some final document from some authorities?
No, no, you don't need to. But even if there is, it's an optional. I'll tell you as an example, because I can't talk about the 50 states in the country, right? I'll
Right.
just can tell you, taken one example, and how it works out. So you're going to notarize all these. You're going to generate all these documents through the attorney or through technology. Period. So you're going to have all these 6 documents in your hands, paper
Mhm.
documents. Okay,
Right.
then you're going to get them notarized. Once after you notarize it, they are valid documents, valid legal documents. Okay,
Okay.
then what do you need to do? So you need to keep them in a safe place where you keep your passport, where you keep your date of birth certificate, where you keep your marriage certificate. So whatever those
Perfect.
original documents that you keep, this is where you keep all these documents. That means they are like original documents. Okay, that's one thing. And now, what do I need to do? Do I need to register somewhere? Do I need to notify someone? Yes. Optionally, out of these 6 documents, Jyotsna, there is a one document optionally you can submit, which
Mm-hmm.
is a last will and testament. Your
Okay.
last will and testament, you can optionally, go to your county office, wherever you are living, that county office, and
All
then you
right.
can submit a copy if your county accepts it. Not that all the counties in United States are accepting it, to my
Okay.
knowledge. Yeah, you can find out because that's your county. You know how it is, right? So you can find out. You can call a county office and tell them, hey, I have a last will executed. I wanted to submit a copy. Well, if they accept it, yeah, go ahead and then submit a copy. They charge maybe $20, $30 or whatever it is, and a small fees. So that's all you need to do. And all other remaining 5 documents, including the living trust, are private documents.
Okay.
Please see that this is a private document. Last will eventually is going to become a public document. What is private? What is public? Private is document that's your own. You don't have to disclose to anyone unless you wanted to share with someone else. But the
Getting
last will and testament ultimately will become a public document after the person is gone.
getting it. Perfect. Thank you so much. Very interesting insight. For my audience there. These are the things we never speak about, and we've not thought of. But yes, you never know when we have our final calling and we leave Earth. So we need something to ensure security for our kids. We, as in, we have everything invested for our kids, basically. So we definitely want a safe and secure future for them, a right family to, who can look after them, whether it's our own relatives or our friends, basically. So we can give it to anybody, right? I mean, there is no thing that we have to establish a connect. If we have finalized a will, it is, and a trust, yes, we are living there at that time when we are creating a trust, right? So that also is a pretty simple thing to understand, that when we execute a trust document, we can oversee the activity still while being alive, right?
Right, right, absolutely, yes, yes. And also, this is a Jyotsna. Some families think that there are 2 frequently asked questions of all these families. One is, I don't know anyone here, in this country or in the state where I'm living. Can I actually designate someone, some other state, or can I designate someone out of, the country?
Right.
Yeah. So this is all situations. I know we all actually go through. We all in the same situation. We go through the situation, right? So the thing that what I'm kind of trying to say is, once you actually, let's say you executed your last will and testament today,
Mm-hmm.
maybe after this show, if you're
Right.
get motivated or encouraged so much with the show the by
No,
Jyotsna.
I'll call you tomorrow. I know. All right.
Okay, so what you want to do is, that means, okay, you designated your brother, or not brother. Let's say you designated a friend or your cousin. Then that means it's not fixed, it's not committed, it's not permanent. You
All
can
right.
always change your last will and testament.
Till the
Let's
time
say
of life.
after 3 years or 4 years, your own brother came into this country. Then who would you actually designate? I mean,
Right.
no disrespect to the friend, because you selected your friend that time, but now you have your own brother. So you can always go back to your last will and testament, change that, this, my brother is going to take care of my children if I'm gone, while my children are still minor, under 18. So you can
Right.
always change. So please don't stuck with, oh, I don't know anyone, I don't have anyone. Well, I'm still thinking. That you never know what happens tomorrow, right? So you can always change it. There is no perfect thing in the world. So you think in a way that something is better than nothing. Just go ahead and then execute it, and then always you can change it.
Okay. One particular question now. As a couple, husband and wife, do they register this will as one unit, as husband and wife together, or it's like husband does it separate and wife does separate? How does it work?
I know that you're going to ask me that. See, that's my one of those things to cover, but you got it, yes, very important, very, very important question.
Right.
Even though you are a family, wife and husband, okay, but when it comes to the legal documents, you are going to have your own 6 documents, and your spouse is going to have his or her own 6 documents. So that's separate. So you're going to have your own last will, and your husband is going to have his own.
And how about a situation where there is a last will? Wife is nominating somebody else, husband is nominating somebody else. What happens?
Very good question, right? I know sometimes, probably my friends actually, just to pull my leg, hey, what happens, if I put, see, this is the thing, right? 2 things. I mean, it's legal is legal, right? I mean, yeah, there's possibility is possibility, right?
Absolutely.
So, okay, last will, when is that last will is being executed? When the person is gone.
Absolutely.
That's one thing.
Right.
Right, that's one thing. And second thing is, who is gone first? Not necessarily both the spouses are gone. So that means it's only one's will. It's not the other's will, right? Gone. And then you may ask Jyotsna, what if both the parents are gone at the same time?
Right.
That's also a situation, right? Yeah. So again, there is a kind of a time, every state has their own regulations. So, if both the persons are gone at the spot, or one spouse is gone, and then after 30 days, after 25 days is the person is gone. So there is a greater difference, if there is a gap between 25 to 30 or 1 month, things are different. If both the parents are gone exactly at the same spot, things are different, right? Then who is going to decide what? And I'll tell you this though, so I cannot tell you the answer because it's all by the court, who actually takes, they think that the judge think that, okay, the better appropriate person to take care of the children.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. And this one, you may actually see this is a surprise. It's a great question, Jyotsna, by the way, that you made me to actually explain a little bit more further. This is awesome. So now, this would be a surprise to you also for all the viewers, but please listen through this thing. You designated your cousin to take care of your children, for example, just an example. No disrespect to cousin or brother or whoever.
I agree, right, okay.
Okay, so now you say you happy, wow, whatever happens, this is good, I've already designated that, my children will be taken care of by my cousin, clear and clear, and you have the last will, and that's been executed. This is the thing. It is not guaranteed that your children will be, given custody to your cousin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, please only take this as information. I don't want to get you this, but I wanted to, we wanted to actually give you the information.
So the court still has the supremacy to decide.
Yes, wow. They have to see that because the ultimate goal of the court, state government, probate court proceedings are to take care of the affected family's children, to take care of the properties and assets of that affected family without going into the wrong hands. That is their first and foremost objective of all this whole process. Then what you say, oh, well, I've designated my cousin, what's wrong with it? Who would be better than my cousin? You can't do that. Then if that is the case, what is the point of actually having all these things for me, right? That is why I said, please, take this as information, try to understand, try to actually see what the possibility, what the reality is. Then I'll tell you this reason. Because in our culture, in our tradition, that's a great thing about our culture and tradition. We are people, with relations, right? So for us, it may not be a big, huge impact or a situation, but I'll tell you this example. Let's say as a cousin, as a friend, as a brother, we know what we see.
Right.
Your cousin as a relation, as a person, what he does or she does, but you don't necessarily know what that cousin actually been doing behind the scenes.
So the court does go into the picture to verify the genuineness of the person, if the person will play responsible. What if the person is an alcoholic, or is an addict, or is an abusive person, or has a bad history, or is a criminal?
There you go. There you go. See, we got all answers. But now, do you still wanted to give custody of your children to the cousin? What you're talking about? Hell no.
Absolutely.
That is what the whole idea about, going through the probate process. Please think that probate process is not a bad thing. Yes, it takes 6 to 8 months. It is not a bad thing. The main objective of this thing is to go to a proper way of handling your children and your properties and assets into the fine hands, so that they will be taken care and they will be manage all these properties and assets until your children become major.
Interesting, very interesting. So once the children become major, they get the entire property and everything in their name. It gets transferred to them. Very nice, quite informative session. So
Thank you.
it is all about will and trust here, what we have discussed today. What are the other financial documents you like financial aspects you discuss in general? I'm just curious to know about your organization.
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, we are a company, a group that we help with all the financial planning aspects of a family or small businesses. We help pretty much anything you talk about for a family. Like, for example, you just had a baby, and then you from the day one that you wanted to plan for your baby for savings for college. Yeah, we can help you with that. And let's say in this situation, you're planning to see that have some kind of a life insurance, protect yourself. You don't know what is going to happen tomorrow, right? Then you want to protect yourself so that the remaining family will be taken care. So this is one of those things, right? We see every other day, even you might go through these things, every other day we are seeing a GoFundMe. Hey, something happened, this person is gone, this person has 2 children, they're little ones, they need their college education support and then family support. We are raising $100,000, $200,000, $50,000 sometimes. If we actually have a plan, a proper simple plan, by paying very, very minimal amount, Jyotsna, you can get $500,000 coverage. You can get a $1 million coverage. These are the things we help, and we help with the retirement. We help with the college planning. If you have a child college going, not college going, high school going child, then you wanted to have a plan for what colleges you want to go, what majors you want to select, how to get the scholarship and all that kind of stuff. We will help you through that service. Anything you talk about. But one thing, I don't want to say that, but one thing that, from the minute that you're born here, from the minute that you're gone, we actually help all these things.
So Mr. Chinni is there in picture to help you through and through. Excellent. Nice, good services you're doing. And of course, we need right people to guide the masses, So Mr. Chinni, other than that, I would like to ask about these, one is your organization coming into picture to help proceed with the procedures for the will and, trust to execute and everything. As far as these attorneys are concerned, do we have to go to a particular attorney who's practicing in our state, or we can choose any attorney to execute the wills?
Well, see, this is every state has their own regulations, right? You need to actually talk to the attorney that in your state. Yeah, that we will provide. If you are opting to, go with an attorney case, yeah, we will provide the attorney that actually living, had the license to do, practice in your state.
So you basically are networked with the whole channel, the network of attorneys, and you will direct accordingly your, clientele. From which state are you coming? You'll attach them, tag along, and work out together, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes,
so we're providing a one-stop solution there when we come and reach out to you. And I give you this opportunity to please share that page which you were talking about your services and your address and the number for record, so that people can have easy access to reach out to you. And these are the show that I do is not for profit exactly, and I try to educate my audience and inform them well. So if you have something you want to screen share, yes, you can do the screen share right now.
Can you see it, Jyotsna?
You can speak a little bit about everything, and we'll come back to the screen then.
True. Yeah. So this is this is basically if anybody would like to actually have a question, because I truly appreciate Jyotsna taking the initiative, inviting us to be part of this thing, because we have so many webinars and educated so many families. So if anyone has any questions, hey, what, I have this thing, live in this state, yeah, please, you can call our office, you can email us, or we even have a Facebook, it is at the bottom of this thing. Just you search for Max Benefits Agency in Facebook, you should be able to find out. And these are the things just now I was talking about, for families, we can help all these things. See, look at this, final expenses. we can help you with, the
Why?
last, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I was talking about. Yeah, anything and everything that, so we can help, as far as, at this time, as far as it is not touching the stock market, yeah, please, you can talk to us. At the same time, Jyotsna, because I was talking about, right, we were more busier than before the COVID-19 situation. This is kind of a helping hands kind of a thing. If anyone is actually having a job situation, and if they wanted to have at least some kind of a part-time, because we need a lot of help. We are getting a lot of requests and things like that. But being remote, you can actually also, if you would like to do some kind of a part-time, you can also call us. We can help you through with this hard situation. So, at least get something going. My philosophy is something is better than nothing, Jyotsna. You
Perfect,
can.
Chinni. Awesome, awesome. You can come back to the main screen now.
Yeah.
You can stop your screen share.
Yeah.
Excellent information, right kind of services that you're doing for people. And, that's where the whole purpose of my show, when, I have responsibility because my name is attached to the show now. It's like Community Special with Jyotsna. And I try to bring special topics, which can help people into their day-to-day lives, which are of importance, which, relate to their career, to their future, to their security and safety. And of course, that's how I thought of bringing you in today into this conversation. Now, to sum up one more time about wills and trust in few words, and about the services that you're providing, how the process works, let's have a recap so that people who have joined a little late would be able to relate to it and get a wide overview, like from the beginning to the end, and you finally can visualize a will coming your way.
Definitely. How much time we have, Jyotsna?
I'll give you just 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay, got it. Okay, so yeah, this is kind of summarize, Jyotsna. This is it's a very good session of actually bringing a community together. So if you are a family, have a baby or a child or 2 children, and own a house, this is a very important for you to consider. It's not because it's not required to consider. If you are living in the United States, irrespective of your status, whether you have a US citizen or a green card holder or H-1B visa holder, doesn't matter. If you have a living legal status in this country and you have a family with children or owning a house or a property, it is very important to consider having this estate planning. That's one thing, who are eligible or not, And for those who just got married, probably this is a good absolute time for you to plan. Because the reason why I tell is, when I was doing the show, last week, one of them actually called and said that, oh, we wish we had, known this information 15 years ago. Because when he came to this country, he was talking about, we wish we had, this information 15 years ago. Well, the people who just got married are, expecting a baby, this is your time. You don't want to wait again 15 years. Absolutely. And then thinking that, oh, we wish we had known. This is your chance. Jyotsna got it. So this is one thing, right? Now, what are the documents we needed to recap? There are total 6 documents, Jyotsna. Okay, so one is a last will and testament, living trust, and financial power of attorney, 3 medical documents. This has a whole together. They will help you protect your children. They will help you protect your properties and assets, all your wealth, and they help you protect your health without going into the state government's hands. Okay, and optionally, if you as a family own a pet, a dog or a cat, you can also have a pet trust for your own pet. What does that mean? I'm just giving you an example with a kind of a vibrant way. Let's say, if something happens to the whole family, who's going to take care of the pet? Well, right. That's, like a baby, right? So what families can do is you can actually establish a trust for your own pet and drop $250,000, drop $500,000 into the trust and just set it there. That means if something happens to the whole family, whoever is going to take care of the trust, they're going to get $500,000.
Wow, awesome.
I'm just kind of holding that out, so it's for that pet. Okay, so the 6 + 1, and again, I think Jyotsna got a really good, way of asking this question. Like Jyotsna was asking, these 6 documents are per spouse, not per family. So you're going to have your own 6 documents, and your spouse is going to have his or her own 6 documents. Okay, that's one, and a pet trust, right? These are the things that actually comes in a picture. And then you don't need to, as you actually submit these things. One more thing that I just remembered, Jyotsna, a family who has special needs children, that's
Oh,
very
yes,
important.
that's very important. Absolutely.
Very,
We
very,
missed
very
out there.
important.
I extend
Yeah.
your time now.
Yeah.
All right.
So for that one, Jyotsna, there are two things. Not really sure. Depends on what kind of a situation the children are in. If your children are getting a federal help or support, when you do this estate planning, you need to be a little bit more careful how you design your estate planning. If you don't plan properly and you just plan it away, that you just do it, then when the special needs child get whatever the benefit getting from the federal government, and may miss that benefit.
Oh, wow.
When based on what it is, because you say you have $10 million, for example, you say, okay, I have two children, one is special needs, a regular, normal child, then $5 million goes to each. Then what happens? This, even though there's special needs children, he's got loads of money. Then the federal, they say, yeah, you have enough money, you don't need any support. So I'm just giving you very plain information.
You basically have to ensure that federal government's aids continues. You put it in the papers or the records there so that we can be connected. They can be connected later, and the kid can get the benefits. Excellent.
Yes,
I mean, these are very, very.
This is, I mean, we go through, the whole 9 yards of the family situation, and with these things. And when you actually prepare all these documents, Jyotsna, this is one very important thing, that you don't have to disclose what you have. There are two ways that you can actually do these things. Some people kind of, oh, well, that means I'm going to talk to you or take help from you. That means I have to disclose everything that I have. Well, I mean, that's your money, that's your property. You don't have to disclose anything. Even when you execute it, you don't have to. You can go to a very nitty-gritty level of explaining, putting everything in your last will, or like a blanket statement. That means, hey, whatever the money, properties I have at that time of that, bad incident, I want to go, equal shares to my children. Let's say you have a $10 million that time, each goes to $5 million. Let's say you have a $25 million, then 50-50 goes there. So it doesn't matter what kind of properties you have. So you don't have to, kind of write down, oh, I have this, I have this, I have that, because it's life, things change. We buy things, we sell things, buy things, sell things.
Perfect.
So yeah, that's the one I wanted to, cover that up. Please leave me 1 minute, at the end. And this is a kind of recap.
Right.
Tell me.
I will ask one more question before, of course, you take your 1 minute there. Is on an average, how much money are people looking to spend on getting the will or trust executed, considering the two options, where one is the electronic way, as your agency would support, or there's another way where you are taking the help of an attorney, you are connecting an attorney and getting it done through them. Two ways, average expenditure per family, where we speak about husband and wife together. I mean, each case, how much would it be per family aggregate?
Right.
Per person, you can say equally.
Sure. Yeah, usually in this kind of giving back sessions, I usually don't open up the pricing matters here, because
average
this is all
range
about,
should be given for people to understand. Doesn't matter.
I take your request.
It's not about just Max Agency. They can reach out to any agency, any organization, any attorney. People should be educated. I will not restrict there. You can give a wide, from minimum to maximum kind of expenses. You can still show a light.
Absolutely. Yeah, I request. I mean, I respect your kind of a question, but I'm just wanted to tell what I see, what kind of ethics I run my business with. I have business partners. Yeah, absolutely. So the thing is, if you're going to go through attorney, because every state has their regulations. Every state's attorney's fees are totally different. On an average, you can say about $2,000 if you're going to go through attorney.
It's about husband and wife together?
Yes, it's a family. Yeah, the whole wife and husband, all the documents, about $2,000. If it's really talking about, I just want to give you these things. If so one of the families actually was talking that they said this person is actually from state of Arizona, and the attorney was saying $3,500 that they charge for all these things. So it kind of varies, but you can say on an average of a couple of $1,000s. And now when you're coming back to leveraging technology, you can actually get it in with below $100. That's one option.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it is. It is.
I mean, I reach to Max Agency and you'll just get it done in $100.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. This is
Yeah,
excellent.
there are options though, because some people think the living trust is something that if you own a property, if you have these houses or real estate properties, everything, right? If people have just a child or so, they don't have any proper the primary house yet, then they may not think that okay, the living trust may not be helpful for me at this time. For them, they can get it done with $100, less than $100.
Right.
If people wanting to have all these documents like along with the living trust, it costs about $300 for them per
Not
family.
bad at all. Very reasonable and good. See, the purpose is just giving a vague idea about
Sure, absolutely.
People don't
respect.
really, till date, now I'm talking to you, I'm learning this. Otherwise, I was having random assumptions in my mind. And my target is to give the near around picture, what you're looking to spend to ensure the future of your kids and your own future or your spouse's future. Whosoever goes first, the other one enjoys, what. Jokes apart, you have to ensure your kids' future, basically. That's how we're talking about it today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chinni. And what else? You wanted to say something now, please tell.
Okay, yeah. So I have one thing that, I have 1 minute. Before that, I just wanted to cover one point, if it's okay.
Right, sure,
one point is, if you are a family and with over 18 children,
what?
like a major child, you need
adult child, okay,
over 18, major, yeah,
right, also major.
So you also need to take care of some documents for them. Otherwise, you would not have you would, as parents, you would lose some authorities because they are major, they are on their own. You still think, okay, 18-year-old, it's still my child, it's my daughter, it's still my son. Yeah, they are. But when it comes to health care, health protection, your child actually need to give an authorization to you to access their medical records, to actually decide what kind of a treatment the child should take. Then you say, go to a clinic or something. Then if needs to be done, this is a papa, what need to be done? No, there is no papa. You are on your own. You are 18 plus. So doctor would not even consider, so.
Chinni, I'm sorry to interrupt. I think there is somebody calling. I'll just see if this call works now. It's technology going bad with, things happen. I don't know. It just dropped actually. So sorry to interrupt. Yeah, you can resume.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to. Yeah, I wanted to say that so if you have children over 18, you need to take care of estate planning for yourself, for your own family, and also for your major children. You also over 18 children. You also need to kind of go through some documents. Make sure you have those documents. So that's one thing that I really wanted to share with.
Thank you so much. I would not have known had you not told me. Yeah. We are as blank as anybody could be because of that.
Well, actually, Jyotsna, we have covered only, not that you know what it is, we have covered only 25% of the whole discussion. We can actually have a series. There's a lot more information, but this is a good basic understanding. Right. What do I need? Do I need it? First thing is first. As a family, I have my wife and husband, and I have a baby. Do I need it? No, we just got married. Do I need it? We just own a house. Do I need it? So that we are clear. I think with this program, we are able to pass this message that,
So what are the other things, Chinni, you are thinking about that when you say it's only 25%, but is it not covered for Wilson Trust to speak about?
Well, see, this is the thing. As we talk, we actually learn, right? We learn so much, we hear so many things. But as a basic idea, we got it. But when you go to a detail of these things, okay, what is the possibilities of living trust? Why do I need a living trust? How can I do these things? Do I need to do anything? Okay, if I do this way, what would happen? If I do this thing, let's say one example, I drop one example. Let's say you have a living trust. Then after you doing the living trust, you need to transfer the ownership of your primary house into the name of the trust, right? That means you are not the owner, your trust owns the property. Now, the frequently asked question is, oh, okay, Chinni, if that is the case, if I needed to refinance, can I do it? Because it's not my name. So those are the things comes into picture.
So Chinni, we will have second round as well, don't worry. I'm not letting you go either, because unless my audience gets the entire information from you, I'm not letting you go. And definitely, I look forward to have more sessions with you about financial planning, planning for the college funds and everything. These generic things. It's not about that people, I'm doing canvassing for Chinni here directly. Of course, it's something it's more about getting information and
True.
use it willfully. Choose your people, your agents, or people you trust, or businesses you trust. You can go with them, but then we should have a basic framework of understanding what needs to be done. So
Right.
that is interesting. We will definitely come back with the other sessions with you, Chinni. So you have come, pretty nicely summarize everything. You have given us great insight, and thank you so much for your time today. And of course, before we leave today, you said that you're running a non-profit. I would give you a few minutes for that to, send out that social message to the masses.
Absolutely. So before I share that, can I actually have a call for action for this session? Call for
Sure.
action, just
Sure.
less than 1 minute. Okay,
Sure.
this is what the community, this is what I want to share to the community. At the end of the day, like I was talking about, statistically looking at over 60% of families don't have estate planning in this country. Definitely we are in one of them. No differences. So having to have this situation, what is that actually stopping us to do these things? Very simple process. Okay, and what is more important than your family? What is more important than your children? What is more important than your hard-earned money, hard-earned properties, coming from all the way from India, living in this country, getting this kind of situation? If some unwanted thing happens in the family, the whole situation is disastrous. Do we want to lead this kind of a life? Do we want to plan this way? Are we that busy to take care of our own family? And there is a one line saying that, making money is important, right? But protecting what you have is more important than making money. So if that is the case, if you believe in, okay, who is important than your own children? Do you really want to actually get your own children going to the foster care just because you didn't have this document, just because something had happened? So this is for my call for action. Jyotsna, this is absolutely, I know you see my a little bit emotional. This is what.
Chinni, you're doing an excellent work, excellent job, and I like it. You are doing excellent work, and I'm very thankful to you for today's session. The reason is, this is what we need to tell people in the time of need, of uncertain times, specifically when thousands of lives have been lost in United States of America, unfortunately, the country which has lost maximum lives in the world. And I have seen families getting destroyed, parents together going away, children do not know what their future is, people don't know. Coronavirus is a situation where the relatives are not even coming near to the children as well for some time, probably. I mean, this is something everybody is being distant and apart. And if we do not plan now, it's really going to be a problem. So why not take the opportunity of sitting at home? When you're sitting at home, take this opportunity to plan well in advance. Plan for, God forbid, if anything happens. Plan for the good times as well. Plan for the prosperous times as well. Because when you sit silently, calmly, you get to think in a better way. And this perspective is only available to you during this lockdown situation, when you have the opportunity to be connected with your family, talk to them, and realize what you want to do in your life together and what you want to secure. So Chinni, I am very thankful to you today for this session.
Very, very well added the lines. It's an absolutely amazing, Jyotsna. This is absolutely, I really appreciate that you add that lines to, to what I said. This is awesome. Thank you so much for inviting me, to be part of your show here. Delighted, and then definitely we would love to actually do, on a regular basis, whatever the needs of, the community and the needs that you wanted to actually show it to our communities, and all that information. So to talk about my a non-profit initiative, can I have 1 minute now? Yeah.
That's right. That's yours. Before I say bye.
Yeah, this is an, see, the thing is, what they say is, what is the reason behind it? There is always a reason behind whatever we do. There is nothing without any reason. Sure. Simple logic. So about 10 years ago, now it's actually 10th year. So we have started, a nonprofit initiative, Save a Life, IYC. That means Save a Life in your community. So with the reason, with the need, we've started that. We do nothing, but we create awareness, how each and every one of us can save lives who are fighting with blood cancer. Okay. So very, very simple. So when you're looking at that situation, there is a lot of misconception. The reason why we do this thing is there is a lot of, lack of knowledge. and a lot of a concern or scare that if I do donate stem cells, there may be some side effects or permanent side effects or something that. So a lot of people are actually not coming forward to donate stem cells or marrow to save blood cancer patients. So that's what we do now. At this time, we have 14 chapters in the country. We've started in state of Texas, in Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area, but now we have 14 chapters in the country. So each and every chapter, we pretty much do every other week or every weekend, we actually at least do two drives in the country. And recently, this is a good news that I would like to share. Recently, about just before, during the COVID or beginning of the COVID situation, we were actually finding a match for an 11-year-old boy who is fighting with blood cancer. We found a match.
Amazing. Excellent.
Absolutely amazing. Look at the COVID-19 situation. Everybody's scared. Everybody's kind of going to the concern. But this is an absolute thing for the humanity, Jyotsna. Even though you're looking at that situation, if you become a match, you still wanted to actually, donate stem cells so you can save a life. That's the ultimate thing it's a lifetime opportunity. So we've seen, so many these kind of stories. Definitely.
Thank you so much.
We can have a session or something like, a community giving back. Yeah. And also we need loads and loads of volunteers. Yeah, we need loads and loads of volunteers. If you wanted to open up your own chapter, a chapter in your own city, please contact us. We will help you to actually open up a chapter in your area, so that actually kind of gives the momentum. That is how we were able to actually do 14 chapters in the country, going very actively, helping the families who are fighting with blood cancer.
Chinni, I'm highly, highly impressed by you for the good work that you're doing. You think about people, their lives in completely holistic perspective. Thank you for all you do for the community. We are thankful to you, and we wish you great success. And with your drive for this Save a Life, with the swab collection that you're doing for the patients, the plasma, like the blood cancer, or like the cancer patients, you're doing it, right? Basically, we wish you all the best for
blood cancer. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time today. We'll definitely bring you again for another sessions, more education from you about the future of people, that you can secure through financial aspects. Thank you.
Thank you.
So my dear viewers, this was a session with Mr. Chinni, an expert financial advisor, expert counselor, person who gave a great insight to us about securing our lives through wills and trusts. The lives of our kids, rather. I would speak about that, and having a peace of mind, sleep peacefully when you have already planned for the future of your kids. With that, we will close today. We'll come back with another community special. Till then, stay blessed, stay at home, stay safe. Thank you.